From a satellite's perspective, France appears as a cohesive nation, its territory neatly contained within Europe. However, unbeknownst to many, France also lays claim to scattered pieces of land across the globe, known as its overseas departments and territories. Today we embark on a journey to uncover the unique characteristics and fascinating tales of these French enclaves. During the 17th and 18th centuries, France embarked on an ambitious campaign to expand its colonial empire, focusing on North America and the Caribbean. Vast territories like New France, Canada, Louisiana, and islands such as Guadeloupe and Martinique were claimed as French possessions. These colonies not only provided valuable agricultural products like sugar, cane, and cotton, but also served as strategic strongholds in European conflicts. The 19th century witnessed a further surge in French colonial expansion, particularly in the aftermath of the Napoleonic Wars. Algeria, French West Africa, Indochina, and Madagascar joined the ranks of France's colonial empire. The French colonial administration during this period was characterized by infrastructure development, natural resource exploitation, and the establishment of plantations. France implemented a centralized colonial management system and actively pursued cultural assimilation policies. Indigenous populations within the colonies were often encouraged and sometimes compelled to adopt the French language, adhere to the French education system, and embrace French culture. This aimed to create a loyal population that aligned with the metropolitan nation and was easier to govern. The post-World War II era saw a powerful wave of decolonization sweep across the globe, and many French colonies fought for and gained their independence. However, certain territories opted to remain under French governance. These territories were reorganized into overseas departments, Département d'Outre-mer or DOM, and overseas collectivities, Collectivité d'Outre-mer or COM. The overseas departments, or DOM, have departmental and regional councils like the departments and regions in mainland France. They must adhere to French national laws. Residents in these areas have the same rights and responsibilities as citizens in mainland France, including voting rights and access to public services. Currently, France has 5 overseas departments: Guadeloupe, Martinique, French Guiana, Réunion, and Mayotte. The overseas collectivities, or COM, have a higher degree of autonomy, with their own local councils and the ability to manage many areas such as taxes, labor, and social affairs. They can have their own laws in many areas, although French national laws still apply in some key areas. This gives COMs more flexibility in internal management. The current overseas collectivities include French Polynesia, Saint-Pierre and Miquelon, Wallis and Futuna, Saint-Barthélemy, and Saint-Martin. Simply put, both DOMs and COMs are distant territories of the French government. While DOMs are an extension of metropolitan France, DOMs adhere closely to French administrative and legal systems. COMs have greater autonomy and more self-governance in many areas. Besides DOMs and COMs, France also has some other special territories with their own administrative mechanisms. Nouvelle-Calédonie, or New Caledonia, a territory in the Southwest Pacific with a high degree of autonomy. It has the Nouméa Agreement of 1998, allowing referendums on independence. Terres australes et antarctiques françaises, or French Southern and Antarctic lands. Primarily dedicated to scientific research, this territory encompasses French possessions in the southern Indian Ocean and Antarctica. Clipperton Island, a small coral atoll of 9 km² in the northern Pacific Ocean with no permanent population. If we only consider the DOMs and COMs, the total area of France's overseas territories is 111,000 km², which is about 1/5 of the area of mainland France. To put this into perspective, this is equivalent to the size of Bulgaria and larger than countries like Hungary, Portugal, Austria, Switzerland, Denmark, the Netherlands, and many others in Europe. The total population of the DOMs and COMs is estimated to be around 2,927,000 people in 2023, making up about 4% of France's total population. Most of France's overseas territories are located in the middle of the oceans, so they have diverse climates, but the majority are tropical with warm and humid conditions year-round. This is in stark contrast to the temperate climate of mainland France. This type of climate greatly influences the lifestyle and economy of these regions, providing favorable conditions for agricultural economies, particularly the cultivation of cash crops and beach tourism. The diverse agriculture, with various tropical products, significantly contributes to the economy. Sugarcane is one of the most important agricultural products, especially on islands like Guadeloupe, Martinique, and Réunion. Harvested sugarcane is processed into sugar and, notably, rum, a renowned export. Other agricultural products such as bananas, vanilla, ylang-ylang, coffee, and coconuts also make significant contributions to the local economy. French Polynesia is renowned for its high-end black pearl industry. Tahitian black pearls harvested from this region bring substantial economic value and are a source of pride for the area. Mining also provides considerable economic benefits, particularly with nickel and gold. New Caledonia is one of the world's largest producers of nickel, making a significant contribution to the region's GDP. In French Guiana, the rich gold resources lead to widespread gold mining activities, both legal and illegal, which have a notable impact on the economy and environment. Beach tourism is a major strength and a primary source of income for many of France's overseas territories. Regions such as Guadeloupe, Martinique, French Polynesia, and Réunion boast beautiful beaches with fine white sand, clear blue waters, abundant coral reefs, and a warm tropical climate year-round. Despite their remote locations, France's overseas territories are not neglected by mainland France. On the contrary, the French government heavily invests in these regions to develop their economies and improve social conditions. This is one of the reasons why France retains ownership and administration of more overseas territories than any other country, including the UK and the US. France has invested in building infrastructure such as schools, hospitals, roads, and ports in its overseas territories. Residents in these areas enjoy the same social welfare policies as those in mainland France, including healthcare, education, and social security. Due to significant attention and investment from mainland France, the standard of living and the economy in these overseas regions are relatively high compared to the global average. Looking at this chart, St. Barthélemy and New Caledonia have a high GDP per capita, nearly on par with mainland France. Regions like Guadeloupe, Martinique, Réunion, French Polynesia, and Saint-Pierre and Miquelon have GDP per capita levels comparable to or higher than some European countries. Assimilation and education policies in these territories also strengthen their ties to France. French is the official language and the language of instruction in schools, with the education system following the French curriculum. This helps maintain cultural and cognitive connections with mainland France. Residents of the overseas territories have the right to vote in French presidential elections, parliamentary elections, and referendums, just like mainland citizens. They are represented in both the National Assembly and the Senate of the French Parliament. In 2023, the overseas territories of France had 27 representatives out of 577 seats in the National Assembly, about 5%, and 21 representatives out of 348 seats in the Senate, about 6%. Given that their population is only about 4% of the total French population, this is a significant proportion in the French Parliament, ensuring they have a voice in national decisions and policies, and strengthening their bond with mainland France. Mainland France has brought numerous benefits to these overseas territories. So what do these regions bring to France? Looking at the map of France's overseas territories, they are spread from the Caribbean, the Indian Ocean, to the Pacific Ocean. This allows France to have a global military presence. Military bases in these regions provide essential infrastructure for military operations, submarine docking, and military aircraft. In the event of political instability or humanitarian crises in neighboring regions, France can swiftly deploy forces to engage in peacekeeping and humanitarian relief missions. Additionally, past underground nuclear tests in overseas territories like French Polynesia have helped France develop and maintain its nuclear deterrence capabilities. Although France no longer conducts nuclear tests, this history remains a crucial factor in asserting its military strength. Maintaining overseas territories worldwide enables France to establish strategic partnerships with surrounding nations and territories, bolstering France's position in international organizations like the United Nations and NATO. Despite the many benefits of maintaining ties with France, there is still a segment of the population in the overseas territories that feels dissatisfied and yearns for independence. Many regions have distinct cultural, linguistic, religious, and historical identities. They feel that their culture is not adequately respected or represented in the policies of mainland France. Thus, they desire self-governance and the preservation of their unique identity. They believe economic inequalities persist between the overseas territories and mainland France, despite government investments. These residents often feel that they understand their own needs and desires better than the central government in Paris, and therefore, they seek the right to self-determination and the ability to manage their internal affairs without influence from mainland France. Prominent examples of independence movements can be found in French Polynesia, French Guiana, and particularly in New Caledonia. The Noumea Accord of 1998 allows New Caledonia to determine its future through referendums. The most recent referendum in 2021 did not achieve a majority in favor of independence, but the independence movement continues to exist. The indigenous Kanak people lead the independence movements in New Caledonia, and the conflicts have at times escalated into violence. Despite the existence of independence movements in some regions, the majority of residents find that remaining connected to mainland France offers more benefits than becoming independent. The opportunities for economic development, ensured security and political stability, and a relatively high quality of life are seen as more advantageous compared to the potential risks and conflicts that might arise if they were to become independent nations. France faces the delicate task of balancing the aspirations for self-determination within its overseas territories with the preservation of its unity and the benefits that come with maintaining these ties. Open dialogue, genuine efforts to address cultural concerns, and a commitment to equitable economic development are crucial steps in fostering a more harmonious and cohesive relationship between France and its overseas territories. France's overseas territories are inseparable parts of the nation. These regions are not only legacies of a once powerful colonial empire, but also testament to the complex and diverse relationship between the motherland and distant lands. Today, France's overseas territories continue to contribute to the richness and diversity of French culture and economy, while maintaining their unique characteristics and identities. Thank you for joining me on this exploration of France's overseas territories. If you found this video informative, please like and subscribe to the channel. I look forward to sharing more insights with you in future videos.